thanks for joining me for this episode of A Drink from Upstream. It's Easter week, and so it's a beautiful week for all people, but especially for the people of God. It's also, we're in the middle, up here in the Skagit Valley, we're in the middle of the Tulip Festival. And I heard a news report recently about the value of the Tulip Festival to Skagit County, and I think it's pretty remarkable. And of course, there's lots of different ways to measure that value. There's things like just the sense of community that we get by having such an event. It's kind of a morale builder for the whole of the Skagit Valley, and I think there's value to that. There's also the beauty of creation that's on display when you go out to those fields. I've never been one to, I really appreciate the beauty of flowers and all of that, and the design and the creativity of all of it. But I'm not one to just gawk at them. But when you see those fields, it really is spectacular. So there's value to that, no doubt. I think just getting outside is, there's value to that. There's fresh air. And it's just, if we could keep it from snowing here in April like it did last night, it's just a beautiful time, and we like that a lot. Time spent with family and friends. If you're taking in the Tulip Festival with family or friends, I think that's just a beautiful thing. It's wonderful. And then as this report was pointing out, there's a monetary value to this, which is, for the Skagit Valley, it's really important. It varies from year to year depending on the general economy of the state and of the country. Also, what else, many other things that are going on. But organizers estimate that this year, the Tulip Festival will bring in roughly $80 million to Skagit County. That's significant. There are visitors, tourists from every state in the Union, as well as people from 80 or 90 countries from around the world. I think that's pretty cool. That's a significant thing. And so I hope that you're able to take in the Tulip Festival, whether you're from the Skagit Valley or not. But it's Easter week, as I said, and the value of Easter is significant as well, but I would say exponentially more significant than our local Tulip Festival. And I think in some of the same ways, just exponentially more. So the sense of community that we get as we gather together with people of common faith, as we gather together with the church, there is this sense of community, like the one that we call Lord has conquered death, our great enemy, and has gifted us with life. That's so valuable for us to get together. That sense of community, that the people that we share a common faith with are the family of God that we're a part of. I think that's beautiful. I think that's awesome. There is the beauty of the love of God on display. There's in the cross and Jesus' suffering. There's a gruesomeness to that that's hard to revisit. But there's also this beauty of the love of God that is it's immeasurable. It's not something that we can really truly quantify. I think there's value in how about this, in the fresh air of the gospel. It's one thing to go outside and get some fresh air, but there's another thing in the midst of all of the news that we hear in this world on a regular basis, which so often is negative. There's this fresh air of the good news of the gospel of Jesus Christ, that Jesus accomplished for us what we could never accomplish in reconciling us to God, in dealing with sin, and then bringing us to a place where we can be justified, declared innocent before God, and welcomed into his family. That's fresh air, friends. He's done for us what we could not do for ourselves. As the old hymn says, Jesus paid it all. And so there's value most definitely to that. Hopefully you're going to spend Easter, after gathering with the church, you're going to spend Easter with some family or with some friends, sharing a good meal. There's certainly value to that. And then I think lastly, whereas we could measure the monetary value of the Tulip Festival here in the gospel, and in Easter, we would measure the eternal value. It's not a monetary value, it's an eternal value. The Bible tells us that Jesus suffered, died, and then was raised back to life so that we would not perish, but that we would have everlasting life. And friends, if that's true, and I personally believe that that's true, it demands a response from us. And so I know for me, when I realized that, my response was to thank God, to turn from sin, and to trust Jesus entirely. And so I would put it to you, what's your response? Happy Easter.